advisory committee that I just got appointed to last week. Does this fall under anything that the charter has services with us already to upgrade that cable?
This is internal.
It's Ethernet cable that's referred to.
It's rewiring the lab.
Okay, so
Basically.
it's nothing that we can say, hey, can you guys help us out on this and come rewire it as part of your contract? Okay.
Is there a motion to remove the hold?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of removing the hold on the CAD lab?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Additional requests, there was a hold on this one. I think this came from one of you.
Myself. I just don't know what additional requests are.
Yeah.
That's the last, I think it's the last page of your agenda.
Okay.
There's a column that totals 71, that was the 72, that was already approved. And then there's a column that totals...
So it's this first column on the
The
left?
first column that says 53.5.
Okay.
Through the chair?
You also held the truck, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll go back to that. Eric?
No.
Is any of this to do with
No?
No.
responsive?
No.
They're okay with the truck?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the responsive classroom or DD? Okay.
So these look like AP English text, Spanish text, biology text, literature and language program 6 and 7, science text and equipment, books for literature, phonics, spelling and handwriting program, math reading workbooks, math textbook for K.
It's all to do with kids, I'm all for
Any other discussion? Is there any other discussion on
Thank
this
you.
one? Is there a motion to approve removing the hold on the additional requests?
So moved.
In a second?
it. Second.
Second.
All those in, any discussion on that?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the last hold we have is for staff development, math, ELA, language,
Not to
arts.
leave.
Does any of that have to do with the,
No, this is, we have a new Massachusetts framework, Common Core, and so right after school gets out, that Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the following week, we have K through 12 committees meeting in ELA and mathematics, and they will take the new mass frameworks and they'll
what they
lay
just
them out.
spoke to us last week about?
That's right.
Yes.
That's it, so this is payment.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to remove the hold on the staff development?
So moved.
In a second?
Aye.
All those in, any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Can we get a total on?
No, we're gonna make a motion for the match.
Okay.
You did.
We have
You
No,
did.
I thought we did, that was embodied in that, if we don't get the mats, that was approval of the mats, and if,
To me, that's an approval of the mats,
Okay.
or at
and
least
if not,
66.
the mats are approved, and if we can't get them in
We just
hand,
removed holds.
Yeah, you'll have to approve
Yeah.
each.
well,
now we approve the whole thing as a whole.
Is there a motion to approve all of the previous, do you guys want me to go through them?
Would you like me to suggest a different kind of a motion? Because you're at 549. At this point, I could say 510 as an estimate of what we have. Maybe we'll have 549. I can't guarantee that. So some of these things, we're going to leave till the last minute on June 28th and say, hey, if you can get this to me tomorrow, because we have the money, we'll do it. If not, because I can't go over the bottom line of the budget.
That's not including the tennis.
The
That's
tennis
right.
and the
And the
mats,
And the-
depending on how it goes. No, actually, that would be just the
Yeah.
tennis.
We held the MMS,
Right.
Yes.
and we held the,
No, because they wanted to move the 16 to mats or to
Or to
computers.
computers. So really, the only
MMS
things,
was,
Oh, that's right, it's defeated.
right, so the
Right.
only thing is the $20,000.
Okay.
Well, if you just subtract
Yeah, well,
20,000,
I was rounding up,
Can I make a suggestion, we just have a priority of
549.
the lowest priority would be since we have the biggest debates on HR and transportation, those would be the lower priority, and try to get everything else in.
And if I have money at the end
Then
of
you
the
can
year.
still do the
okay.
HR and transport, those would be our lowest priority, since we have the biggest discussion on those two items.
I'm
Is there?
I'm
is-
good with that.
All right, is there a motion to that effect, approving all of the holds that we've gone through
With a priority of HR and transportation at the bottom
at
of
the
the
Couple
bottom
list.
of the
lines.
list?
I can do that.
And Matt's
Matt's at
towards
the top of the list,
For the middle.
for the middle
For the
school
middle school.
and high school if we can get it
And
delivered by
if
that
the
time.
mats don't come, then it's gonna be the computers. We'll add to the
Yes.
computers.
And computers, if mats aren't able to be delivered by end of school,
So even the computers are above the HR
Yes.
and the transportation.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
All right, so is there any discussion?
My only, so all holds were removed? We didn't have one that held?
We held the.
No, we held,
the
tennis
tennis
courts.
courts, right
Okay.
here.
That was the only one?
That's the only one.
Okay. So now the priority, the bottom of the list is
HR and
HR.
transportation.
Transportation and HR.
Matt's computers at the top of the list.
MMS isn't going to happen. That money will either
Right.
be
And that one,
Matt's
Yes.
or.
Oh, that was the one, that was what I was,
Yep,
right.
yeah.
So that was the
Yes.
one I.
Either way, that's not going to happen.
Right.
that one was defeated.
Well, it'll happen next year, but, or parts of it anyway.
Part
because we have to
6,000
pay
will
for it.
happen next year.
Yep, okay. So the motion on the table is to approve the holds with the exception of the MMS, which was defeated, and the tennis courts, which has a hold on it, putting transportation and HR at the bottom of the list, and putting the mats and the computers at the top of the list. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Good meeting
That was
tonight.
a lot of work.
Yeah, but it went well.
It was a good job.
Comments and statements from the public? Very good, since we are
Michelle?
already in.
Who's the guy smiling in the back, though?
Before you close,
Of the
do
new
you want
truck.
to have a quick discussion of what the selectmen are looking to do, so we can send them an idea of split, not split? I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm dealing with is regardless of whether well, no, that'll be different. If we end up doing the high school Macomber roofs, one of the things that's going to trigger is for us to start dealing with the ADA regulations, because you're doing X amount of money. Part of it is doing the front entrances. But we had a discussion with the ADA people, and, you can't even get to some of the entrances by parking in some of the places that, even though they're supposed to be handicap accessible,
They're too
trying to get the
dangerous.
chair through
The ruts.
the ruts. And some of the other concerns they have is how the lines are painted, the signage, all of that could go into this capital improvement of the parking lots. Honestly, I don't have the pulse on what would happen on a summer ballot, whether splitting it or combining it with the town would help. I know that at this point, I don't know, I'm just one person and I live in the town. And I'll be out with my truck no matter what, because I have a big four-wheel drive truck with a big plow on the front, and I'll get through just about anything. But my expectation would be that most people would say, hey, the town needs to update their equipment. And so I think people will come out for that. Whether we can piggyback on that, because I'll be honest, I think a lot of parents kind of go in vacation mode and turn off their brains and just, call me back in September, and this is supposed to happen August 9th. I may not even be here that week.
Jim?
No, that's okay.
I
Anybody
was all
else?
for staying with them, only because I know Mr. Sisson's
Ideas.
enthusiasm he has for his equipment and people backing him.
Right.
I think if anything, they're going to go out to vote for him. And if we are on vacation, I think we should try it.
To be honest, that's the only break that I could even take a vacation this year. I got conference, retreat with the staff, and then I'm teaching a course at the end of the summer, so I may not even be here, and I, kind of got done, and
Jim?
The other thing I heard when Mr. Villar spoke was, it seemed to me, and maybe I misheard, but it seemed to me that the motivation was that the town meeting format, because of the attendance, shouldn't be a legitimate way to approve that, and I don't buy that at all. I think that we have the town meeting format, that's the way it is, that's what was approved at town meeting, and I think we should go forward with that.
Tony?
You know, today we approved a lot of technology spending, but I hope as a school committee next year, working with next year's budget, that maybe we won't have all this money left over because we would have hired those missing teachers at the elementary, which are in desperate need.
What's your thoughts on the
Split of
questions?
the
Splitting.
questions.
I think we leave them together right now, this time around.
Mike?
Well, I'm hearing 3 in favor of keeping them together. My only comment, I believe it would stand on its own. However, it did go through school as a combined
In town,
warrant article.
yeah.
Town meeting.
I think it's very important that we add to our educational campaign the importance to the American ADA, American with Disabilities Act requirements. We've received a report that's going to cost us money, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to take care of.
At least one piece of it,
So
in a
that's,
couple of buildings.
So I'd go with the consensus of the board on our response to the Board of Selectmen. I think we want to add to the educational campaign of our part of that warrant.
I agree, and it was presented to town meeting as a whole.
And
It
approved.
wasn't presented as the schools, and then as that, it was presented as a group item, and I think that that's how it needs to go forward, in my opinion. And I understand Mr. Villar's feeling of giving the town the option of picking this or picking this, but this is how it was presented, and I think
It's kind
if
of weird to know.
if they wanted to
I
do
didn't
that,
know
then
there
they
was
should
a-
have split them on town meeting floor. So, I think,
And I might add, we've gone ahead with the educational campaign for our warrant for our ballot question, and showing pictorials on the cable TV. And I
I've
happen
had
to
quite a
park,
few comments on that.
You parked over a puddle tonight?
I happen to park in handicapped places with a placard, which gives me that. And there are pictures you can take of our handicapped spaces that you step out of the vehicle into potholes,
Or into mud.
or mud and puddles and things,
Yeah.
and that's just an example of.
Yeah, I can add that. A couple of the quick things that are more coming for next week that carry money attached to it. We did open bids last
Are we allowed to be talking about
yeah, I was
this?
actually just gonna say, this stuff isn't,
Well,
Are we
the
allowed
problem
to-
is there's issues which each of the bidders, we collect the bids and then we go through the checklist of all the stuff they're supposed to provide. There's issues with each one of them. So we've contacted all the way up to the AG's office to make sure we're doing this right. So hopefully I will have an answer for you by next week
okay.
as to who we can award the contract to.
Okay,
So give me the weekend to look over whatever they sent back to us.
yeah,
There is a possibility of some savings, but there may be a possibility of having to use some of that reserve money that we have in there. So I'm not sure yet. The other one is we hope hopefully by Friday, to have the results of the testing at the middle school. So I will hopefully have for you some kind of let's tell the MSBA, here's where we want to go at that time. Because I think I'll have
Very good.
solid stuff for you at
okay.
that.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Good job tonight, people.
So we don't have executive.
I'm sorry?
I thought that's not somebody executive,
No.
no.
No, no executive. Actually, I do have a question now, because I got a strange